The feed's not done. So it's gonna about 30 seconds. I'll be all done.
I was gonna say you're right on the time right now.
Yep. So now I'm just waiting for it to say. All right, so that's live.
There you go.
And then now that's live. So I'm gonna share on my post because this is actually off of. Oh, that works too. I can get a chance to write a description, but that's all right. Because they'll probably have me do the prayer. Because I got yelled at the last couple of weeks because when we were meeting, I haven't been on this. I'm like, hey, Pastor, since you're not there, we got all like taking turns praying. Like, oh, come on, guys, you guys got this. And we're like, it's got 4 people already on, and then. Hey, afternoon, everybody. Pastor Rob from South Lake Church. Here we are at Panera. Got my coffee, reading Immerse, and just being together. So thank you for joining us here at our daily devotion at noon. So what is Immerse? Immerse is this way where we read and get to know Jesus by reading the New Testament in a way that we understand it. It's much easier to read, and we do this together with one another. If you're kind of curious about what is this Immerse, want to be a part of it, just send an email to rbailey@southlakelc.org. We'll get you connected and a part of the group. So what is the group? Well, here at Southlake, we meet Saturdays, 8 a.m., over at Noah's Ark Cafe in Bay Cliff. Just take 646 all the way down till you hit the water. Don't go in the water. And there, Jessica Leach leads us in a discussion about what we read this week, or for this case, what you watched in the devotions. And we ask 4 questions. Was there anything new that stood out to you this past week? Do you have questions? Has your relationship with God changed at all? And what kind of impact is this going to make in your life going forward? Well, our reading today now, we just finished the Gospel of Mark yesterday, and today we're reading through 1 Peter. Now, for the next couple of weeks, as we continue to read through Immerse, the letters that we're going to read are all known as Catholic letters. The word Catholic does not mean a particular church, it means the universal church. All Christians. And these letters are not meant for a specific person or one church to read, but was addressed to a group of churches, or to the church at whole. So Peter, now in Rome, through his travels, is now writing back to churches to the east of him to share what's going on in his heart, his mind, and what's happening for him. What we see here, and what we know from tradition, is that Peter goes through persecution. Tradition says he's going to die. He's going to choose to be crucified upside down. That's what tradition says. What we read in the writing today from 1 Peter is that Peter realizes that the trials that he faces, the hurts, the destructions, and things that are going on in his life, tie him back to the suffering of his Savior. As you read 1 Peter, you see Peter take a delight in joy in seeing that just as Christ suffered, so too I'm suffering for my faith. And the joy and a blessing, joy and a blessing. Do we always take joys and blessings from our suffering, our trials? I don't think so. But that's what Peter does. So what we see here is that Peter's making a point that all those struggles that you're facing in your life are a reminder that we had a Lord who also suffered. And every time you suffer, you're tied to Him. You're a part of Him. And there's a joy for being a part of who Jesus is and what you're going through right now. So if we take what Peter says, that means The question we need to be asking ourselves as we're reading this, those trials in your life right now, how are you going through them in a way to help share and show Jesus in your life to others? I don't think we normally think of it that way, do we? It's more of what do we do wrong, or what put us in this position? But instead, what we actually see is that Peter's making a point of, that those trials you're facing, those are ways that we get to share with others how we have a God above all these trials. We have a hope and a promise that keeps us going day after day. That excited Peter, and it was worth sharing for Peter. It was worth dying for Peter. That is the letter of 1 Peter. Well, did you have any questions from today? Was there something new that stood out to you? Maybe you didn't know about the story or traditions of Peter. Do you have questions? I bet you had a whole bunch now, because I just told you here's a church father saying we're going to face trials, and every time your life is struggling and it's hurting, you should take joy in it. Oh, that doesn't sound like we normally hear, but that's exactly what the Bible preaches. That the struggles and the things we face, we have a God above it all, and we take joy with Him with us. So what does that mean in our life? Now, if you do have a question, I highly recommend texting On My Mind to 94,000, because when you do that, we'll start a conversation and we can actually talk about our questions with one another. So take advantage of that. Does this change your relationship with God? Knowing that trials are not going to be hidden from you, trials aren't going to be stopped, but instead, you will face them as a Christian. You have a God who's still with you. And what kind of impact is that going to have in your week this week? Maybe there's some problems going on at work right now. Maybe dealing with family. How we handle those things and go through those things has a chance to show our faith to those we love and care about. I don't know about you, that really hits me today is the importance of how I walk and live my life. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us today here at Immerse, here at South Lake Church, where we engage, grow, and share Jesus in our community relationships. We do this together because it's about relationships with Jesus. Hope you guys have a great week, rest of the day, and look forward to talking to you tomorrow. Take care, everyone.